Today's episode is brought to you by the best store in the universe. Thousands of shirts, but not really. Shop now and support the show at MaddoxRules.com. Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from bounce checks to butt sex. With over 3.5 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. With me is the Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Bounce butt sex.
And Deputy Moderator, Kirk WIlcox.
People have sex with butts?
And Moderator in Training, Brad.
I think my wrench height just bounced.
Welcome back to the show. Guys, amazing show this week. We've got a huge debate. We've got a contentious one because this is about...
We're fired up before the even debate started.
Oh,
before we pressed record, people are fired up.
Yeah, we were debating this before we... Like, at least for an hour before we started.
We spent an hour debating the framing of what the framing should be.
You were keeping people at bay. You were like, no, guys, save it for the podcast.
Yes.
Save it for the podcast.
I absolutely was. Because these guys like to spend their fuel before the podcast starts, and everyone's all fired up and angry, and I'm like, well, great. What are we going to do on the show?
And then it takes Maddox a half hour to start the podcast. Every time you don't have a memory card in the recorder, how many of these have we done?
Well, 136.
Then you could set your watch to, the memory card, and then you go get it.
And honestly, I can't even take credit for that this time because Kirk pointed it out.
MVP.
Welcome back to the show, Kirk. Kirk WIlcox, comedian. Ron's a comedian too. If you guys, this is the first episode you've ever heard of the show.
Yeah.
And Brad, an editor, first time on the show. Brad, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. First and probably last.
Yeah, I'm gonna tangent this debate into frame rates. Hey, Brad, you a 29.97 guy, or you more of a 23.976 guy?
I'd leave it for the finishing guys.
Okay, all right, cool.
Brad is a finisher. Anyway, guys, real quick before we start the actual debate, though, I do want to talk a little bit about E3 and I'm surprised so many people don't know what that is.
What are the 3 E's?
Entertainment.
Wow.
Is that even right?
And, I got
Electronic.
I got Electronic Entertainment Expo. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
pretty good.
Point Maddox. That's right.
Was it fun?
It was fun. It was too much fun, and that's why I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice.
It's a little gravelly,
but you can definitely see it on the YouTube if you guys are watching on YouTube. But I am in an alcoholic haze, and it's been this way, and it's going to be this way probably for the next few days because I partied too hard. I went to too many events. I went to too many after parties. I met too many people.
What's your favorite game that's coming out?
Doom Eternal. It is so badass. So if you guys have played the old school Doom, they've kicked it a notch into the new game. Now, here's the thing. Okay, with first-person shooters, and I know I might be losing a segment of the audience, but for first-person shooters, there's a game called Halo. And what it did is it introduced a gameplay element. Okay, I'm gonna lose it.
No, keep going.
Halo.
Tell us about this game called Halo.
I thought I'm gonna go and introduce douchebags to first-person shooters.
I'm only familiar with Chex Quest.
Oh my gosh, Kirk. That's like the second time it's come up in a few days. Chex Quest for some. It's like a video game that it was included in Chex cereal.
Yes.
Like back in the 90s, I think.
Classic.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, fucking Halo. So this game introduced a gameplay mechanic where after you get shot, you like stand for 10 seconds and you re-heal. Great. Wow, what a fucking boring game. I get to stand around for 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds I get shot. Oh, I gotta go hide. What a boring game. Doom says, no, fuck you, we're going back to the basics. And Doom rewards players for being aggressive, running into the battle, punching people right in the fucking face, and when you run out of ammo, the only way you get more ammo is by killing enemies faster.
All right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So a fun gameplay mechanic. It's basically just a brutal free-for-all.
Yeah, makes your dick hard. Love it.
Nice.
Just like the original.
Potoffle in the chat room says, I want to put Ron Babcock inside my body.
Jesus Christ.
Like a body my same size.
I always forget about the Kiss Army in the chat room, and then they show up, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember those guys.
Yeah, it was a good time. I hung out with Boogie2988, and I met a bunch of other big YouTubers. I hung out with so I just made this YouTube video where I talked about the Borderlands 3 controversy going to Epic Games, whatever, and I talked about this YouTuber named Yongya. Yang Ye.
Oh yeah, you kind of.
Yeah.
I remember
called
you.
out Yang Ye.
You called him
Yang
out, but
Ye,
you were
yeah.
like, I like a lot of his content, but this line is bullshit.
Yeah, and I, I thought it was like a respectful. I was like, I
I thought
disagree
it was
with
a respectful way of doing it.
Yeah, because he does have good content. I wasn't shitting on him personally because I actually like a lot of his content. But I saw him and I met him and we took a picture together.
And did he know that you made that video?
He did not, and I told him I did, and I was like upfront about it. I'm like, yo, listen, dude, I just kind of called you out in one of my videos, but in a kind of a respectful way. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, cool. He's like a super nice guy.
He was
of
like,
course.
"Who are you?"
Oh.
He just grabs your phone and breaks it.
I thought that story was going to end with, so we started to like fuck each other up and try to like, but it turns out really you had a nice conversation.
We started going hard, and also for the Ron heads in the chat room, which I know there are a lot of. For those of you listening to the Babcock tips, Ron a long time ago, and I tell you guys, I do most of Ron's Babcock tips. He gave a tip a while ago, which is to donate blood.
Yes.
And guess what? I fucking did it.
Yeah, dude, I'm donating on Monday.
Great.
First of all, when did you donate?
Well, by the look of the sore on my arm, 10 minutes ago, it is not healing.
Telling you,
well.
man, in the next couple days, you're gonna feel good.
Really?
Body's gonna give you a whole new pint of blood. It's like an oil change for your body.
Well, too late because I already replaced it with vodka all week.
Donating is for suckers. Sell your plasma. Get paid for that shit.
Well, anyway, guys, speaking of getting paid for shit, let's talk about this debate, which is universal basic income. Later on in the show, I've got some voicemail. We've got a Babcock tip, and we're going to have a recap of last week's debate. But before we get there, let's hear everyone's buzzer. Here's what mine sounds like. Kirk? Wrong! Brad? And Ron. There it is. If you hear a buzzer from anyone during this debate, that means someone's disagreeing with someone else, or you're chiming in for an interjection. But let's talk about this universal basic income. Brad, as a first-time guest on the show, I'm going to throw it to you. What is your thoughts on universal basic income? And there is a wrong answer, so go ahead. Oh, actually, and let me phrase it correctly. The debate is universal basic income for pinko commie dipshits,
Or what?
or what? What do you think, Brad? Is it for pinko commie dipshits? Are you a pinko commie? Or
Should you define what universal basic income is in case people don't know what the fuck that is?
Yeah, that would probably be a good thing for a host to
like
do.
me who don't know what universal basic
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, since you don't know what it is, I will define it just for the sake of Brad. I'm sure all the listeners know, but universal basic income is a concept that was introduced. Kirk, you can help me out with this. Is Andrew Yang?
Andrew Yang, and he's calling it the freedom dividend, which is fucking stupid.
The freedom dividend.
The freedom dividend. But the promise is every American 18 and up will get $1,000 a month.
Okay, and what is this? Just like you get it no matter what, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you
that
turn
is
18, you get $1,000 on the first of every month or whatever.
Yeah. So that is the debate. Is that a good idea?
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that there's a specific guy for America. I know that futurists and stuff like that have been saying that the idea of universal basic income is that everyone who's an adult gets a certain amount of income every month to live off of.
Right.
And my thoughts are that is going to happen at some point because of no one's going to have any jobs because AI and automation and robots are going to take everyone's job. No one's going to have any income whatsoever. So you start giving people like a living wage just to live off, to make ends meet, to buy food, housing, clothing, the basic needs. And then they can make more money doing a work or selling goods or doing artwork afterwards.
Okay, so what do you think of that, Kirk? Because I know you disagree.
Well, I have two opinions on this. First is the idealist opinion, which I've said before on this show. The proper role of government is to protect individual rights and property rights. It's not to provide people with basic needs. It's not to take care of the needy. So ideally, no universal basic income.
Says Kirk.
Yeah, says me.
Like you're like, this is what government is for.
Well, what do you think the proper role of government should be?
I think the government.
It doesn't matter what you think the proper role of government should be.
Oh my god!
Props for a rock call back.
I am so glad you said that, Kirk, because I've been waiting to I'll be in the shower sometimes. I'll be taking a shit, and your words will be ringing in my head. I'll be
sitting in the shower.
yeah.
Thinking about me.
Two birds
yeah.
at once.
I'm distracted by, and I'm so angry because I'm like, fucking Kirk. And I'm like, I want to debate you on this because you keep saying this phrase like it's a law.
Yeah.
It is not a law, and the definition and role of government is not defined, but as like the standard thing. Anyone could define government. You're saying the role of government is what?
To protect an individual's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of property and happiness.
Says you.
Well, what do you think the proper role of government should be?
Wait, if you're
of
starving to death, isn't that the pursuit of life?
Yeah.
So the government
No,
should protect you from starving to death and
They
dying?
protect your right to pursue your life for your own survival. That doesn't mean that you can be guaranteed certain basic things without violating the rights of other people.
I mean, I think the idea of universal basic income is interesting, and I think it's a way. Like, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. I think a lot of people are going to have a negative reaction towards it. I do think it's an interesting way for the idea of our economy to actually evolve. Because I am, like, in the next 10 to 15, 20 years, a lot of our jobs are going to be taken over by AI and automation. And I always look at the lens of making things as practical and as efficient as possible. So, like, one of the things is, like, people in, like, to end homelessness, you know, there's this always thoughts of like, hey, let's just give them houses and let's get them off the street. You're like, well, you can't give the homeless houses. But when you start to show that, hey, actually, we spend less money just giving him the fucking house and getting him off the street than putting him through the system and, you know, through the criminal court system, we spend more money doing that. So my thought is if you have universal basic income and you allow people to just satisfy their basic needs, like, is that going to be a more efficient use of our resources than having some people who are kind of living in the dregs of society and having to exist in the welfare state? Because I'm always looking for the most practical option available. So I wonder if this is a more efficient use of our resources to make sure that, like, you keep some people from falling into the gutter and pulling more resources from our system.
Okay, Kirk, yeah, what do you have to say about that?
Well, you bring up the practical. I said my first opinion, that's my main opinion, the idealist opinion. But I also have a practical opinion, and I would be in favor of universal basic income if you got rid of all other welfare programs that currently exist.
Okay, so your idea is like, listen, we'll give you universal basic income, but nothing else.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, WIC, SNAP, everything else goes. No subsidies or tax breaks. Get rid of all subsidies and tax breaks for corporations, for people who need food stamps. Everyone gets $1,000 a month, and that's it. The government is closed for business after that.
Okay. Okay. If you think that, but you'd be okay with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Practically.
Why practically?
For a variety of reasons. I think it would be easier to predict the economy. I think it would cut down on a lot of lobbying, because if the government says, look, we're just giving everyone $1,000 and that's it, you want to have all these pressure groups coming to the government saying, hey, we need this subsidy, we need this tax break, whether it's Planned Parenthood trying to get subsidies for their clinics, whether it's a bank trying to get a bailout, whether it's General Motors trying to get a bailout. It's like, nope, this is the only welfare we're giving out, and that's it. Additionally, a problem with today's modern welfare, and I don't think this is the proper role of government, but when it comes to welfare for the poor, a lot of people have to jump through a lot of hoops. They have to prove that they make us below a certain amount of income. They have to prove that they don't have any money in the bank. And I can get this, understand the mentality, because it's like, look, if you're going to come to the taxpayers asking for help, you better spend every dime you have first. Don't come to the government asking for money. But on the other hand, a lot of people who get on welfare stay on welfare because they're afraid to get a job. And I think Andrew Yang has actually talked about this in some of his interviews, that people get on welfare and they stay on welfare and they don't want to get a job because they think to themselves, well, if I get a job, even if I make more money than I make on welfare, what happens if I lose my job? What happens if my employer goes out of business in 2 years? Then I have to jump through all these bureaucratic hoops to get my basic needs met. Whereas if you have that guaranteed income for $1,000 that you, with no strings attached, then you can go out and get a job and you don't have to worry about getting fired and then losing your safety net.
A lot of times, I think that's a really good point, actually. But I think a lot of times people are looking at this as like the government is giving you $1,000. As far as I've heard, the way the argument is currently structured is that it would be funded by a VAT, a value-added tax that's common in Europe, where the government will put, say, a tax on our goods and services that you pay 10%. So basically, you're already paying it, and then it's almost like a forced savings plan, and the government gives you that money back at the end of the year, either through a dividend check every year as like a social dividend or as a cut thing on your taxes. So it almost is like the people who end up paying are the people who end up consuming more. So my little environmental like perspective that I view everything, because I'm a big hippie freak, is that I think that we need to actually consume less because I think we're burning through our resources too fast. So for me, this would have a calming effect on consumption because things cost more. You're going to use it use it less.
That's the weird conundrum with universal basic income. When you got to raise taxes, you're going to raise the cost of goods and services throughout the economy. So the money you get might be a wash at the end of the day. So it's like, oh, okay, you get $1,000, but you just increase the cost of everything across the economy by 10%.
You know what? Actually, somebody in the chat room, I just out of the corner of my eye, Ian had a really good point. He's like, I'm on the fence about this idea. Why wouldn't landlords just raise the rent by,
exactly.
I don't know, $1,000?
They would. Well, especially if the cost for their standard of living goes up, they're going to have to raise costs.
Like, you wonder is there a lot of unintended consequences that would happen? Like, you can't just start giving people $1,000 every month. You got to $50 first, and then $100. Like, you got to ease people into it.
Well, they're actually starting in California, in Stockton, California. They've started a program. I think it started this year where they started giving everyone that lives there.
Yeah, but then you have to live in Stockton.
Well, it's true. I actually know someone from Stockton.
I mean, $1,000, like it goes a long
but it's only
way in
$500 a month.
But in Stockton, then we might as well be
like
a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
Look,
you can buy a lot of meth with $500 a month.
Here's what we know about people who win lotteries, which is they always blow it. They always spend all that money. So any amount of money you give,
or they end up dead.
No, not everybody. The people that we know about, but the people who choose to say anonymous, those are the fucking weirdos who still go back to their job. You know, and they don't think they just buy a new Toyota Corolla and then they call it a day.
Okay, but most people,
I'm the weirdo who would do that.
Yeah, I won the lottery 4 years ago.
I'd have a 2019 Toyota Corolla. No, dude, Honda Fit.
Then you buy it used
sports package.
Okay, so you give these people money. I made this argument a long time ago, which I thought was a sound one. There are durable goods and non-durable goods in our economy. Now, people who are rich buy durable goods, and those are things like cars, yachts, houses. Those are things that last a while. Non-durable goods are like Tupperware, clothes, irons, ironing boards, the common things that you buy in stores like Target and Kmart and those type of places. So people who get this $1,000 windfall per month are just going to go out and spend it on durable goods. And I do believe it will have a net positive effect on manufacturing and the economy because people are just buying things that they need to replace that they're just constantly burning through. And Ron, the resources argument, I don't believe at all. Not for a second.
My God, you
I don't even think we're close.
You're such a fucking dipshit.
How much oil do you think there is? There's literally a finite amount.
Yeah, there's a finite
something else. Oh, we'll switch to something else. I don't give a shit. I'm not like Ben Shapiro. I'm not making a case like, oh, we'll just move fucking from the coast when it sinks. That's not the argument I'm making. But I do believe that we haven't even scratched the surface of vertical farming. Vertical farming will solve so many problems. It will be more fuel efficient, more cost effective. Look at the printer revolution. The email revolution has made paper basically obsolete.
Printer revolution? Yeah. The way you say it, are printers fucking rising up against us? No, because they don't fucking work.
Yeah, they work just fine.
No, printers don't work just fine. What printer have you ever used where you're like, man, that's a damn good-ass printer? Printers, the ones in Kinko's don't even fucking work.
I've bought 2 printers within the last 3 years, and both of them stopped working after 6 months.
I'm glad we're getting to a real debate.
Buy black and white laser printers. Those last forever, and they're great. Unfortunately, like I had a laser printer for like 5 years, and I finally had to change out the thing.
Oh, that's
and I had to buy a whole new fucking printer because they stopped making the printer, and they stopped making the cartridge. The cartridge. So I bought a color laser printer, and I've already had to fucking replace all of the shit there.
Okay.
I printed like 5 fucking things.
Yeah, listen, guys.
If you had universal basic income, you could buy a ton of printer cartridges.
Yeah, and that's exactly what
I wouldn't have to stress about printer cartridges.
But the cost of a printer will go up by 10% because of VAT.
No, look, just because people are making more money, they're not just going to fucking start gouging people.
Oh, fuck you.
You don't think so?
Dude, that's probably the best point Kirk has ever made.
Yeah.
People are going to raise the prices. Hey man, the government VAT, they're gonna raise it 10%, they're gonna raise it 12%, and then take 2% for themselves.
But then the economy will collapse because everyone's raised the prices, your landlords raise the rent, so everything's the same. So you're still gonna head in the same you're gonna defeat the purpose of what the thing that universal basic income was trying to solve.
You fucking knuckle dragging dipshits. Here's the problem with like this dumbass dipshit. Oh well, if everyone gets $1,000, everyone's just gonna raise the prices. No, because someone's gonna come along and say, hey, everyone else is raising the prices. I'm going to do this other thing called lowering them, and I'm going to fucking get all the business. It's still capitalism. It's still the free market.
Yeah,
People can
and
still
you know how
economy.
the free market always works too.
well,
There's
it's
never been rigged.
There's never any oligarchies that come together and just agree to conspire and keep a price at a certain
Yeah,
amount.
Yeah,
Nope.
you still have antitrust.
Yeah, because that works so well because we have such a great choice on what internet service provider to
I
use.
agree.
that are
Antitrust
fucking
needs to go into the shredder where it belongs.
Oh, fucking Kirk, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, all hail AT&T.
yeah. All those who love
Government
Spectrum.
created monopoly.
I saw how Spectrum was, Time Warner was so bad that they just changed their name to Spectrum, and now we all got to pretend like they're this new fucking guy.
True.
And I know, and I remember calling Time Warner, and they're like, "We're Spectrum now." I'm like, "You know what? Well, you're doing some real Time Warner bullshit right now." And they were like, "Ugh," because they just do that thing where like it's only $45 a month, and then 2 years later, like, "Oh, now it's $65." And you call up and you're like, I thought my internet was $45. And they're like, "Yeah, that was a promotional rate for 2 fucking years."
Yeah, I've had that shit too. Where I'm like, so if I just switch, if I cancel this and start a new account, I just get the promotional rate again. They're like, yeah. I'm like, this is such a fucking
here's
bureaucratic.
the Babcock tip. All you got to do is cancel your account and not start it back up for, I believe, 60 days, and then you're considered a new customer again. So if you could borrow your neighbor's internet for 60 days, then you get the thing.
Or
And by
if you
the way,
have a roommate or you live with a girlfriend, then you just switch it over to their account.
yeah, because and fuck these guys. They're fucking us, so you fuck them back.
Yeah.
Because internet is not that expensive.
No,
to
it's
deliver.
just and especially the phone
It
companies. The phone
isn't?
companies are the worst.
I thought net neutrality was going to skyrocket internet costs.
Well, they're slow playing that. That's the thing. The companies are like, they know not to come out right out the gates because they're like, oh, we don't want to fuck.
I'm just trolling because Maddox and I had this debate one time a couple years ago.
Which
The net neutrality.
But
yeah,
it's coming.
and I won that one. That was the thing. And here's the thing.
Net neutrality went
Everything's
away.
solved. I won the debate.
Ajit Pai said Kirk has a good point. We're getting rid of it.
Yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah, so all these like fucking conservatives who are like, I'm getting banned on Twitter. I want regulation now. It's like, well, guess what, dumb
I said
fuck.
it on the fucking show that was coming.
Got Dreadmere 2.0 over here.
Yeah.
Dreadmere is Kirk Wilcox 2.0.
Dreadcocks. Real quick in the chat room, we've got Paul Flart. Welcome, Paul Flart. Guys, give him a follow on
Hey, Paul.
Instagram.
Yeah.
He's been killing it with this fart game. Oh, by the way, real quick aside, at E3, I went to this like YouTube lounge thing, and there was a security guard in there. I walk into the middle of a conversation. He's like arguing with his other security bro, and he goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, he asks the room. He poses the question. He goes to this room. Did you guys ever, as a kid, think that if you farted and you really quickly like sniffed it all up, no one else could smell it?
Oh my god.
That's a science fact, right?
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I was
Sniffed it all up.
and immediately I was like,
Fart vacuum.
no. Yeah, so no, but I said no, but like I have done this. I have farted into a vacuum to see.
Oh yeah. We've
Yeah.
all done that.
Yeah, you put a vacuum
done
hose
that,
up
yeah.
your ass and then you fart right into
If
it.
you could, like, I farted and then I just take the vacuum, pick it up, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's air, so
air.
it's got to go someplace.
Yeah, it's got to go someplace. And you just.
But then I
press-
also doesn't realize with the vacuum, it sucks in the air. It takes out the dirt and then it blows the air out.
Yeah, but it
like
smells different. It's like dusty air.
Oh, so it's like a dusty fart.
Like
Yeah.
So it's better.
Like Pigpen from the
from
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that's right.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. Theoretically, it is possible to suck up an entire fart into a vacuum cleaner. I think that's possible, but not with your nose.
I was once sick
Not with
as a
your
kid, and when we were sick as a kid, we'd sit on the couch, and you get to watch TV, and I was home alone. I once farted so bad that I actually thought I burned a hole in the couch. Like, I had to push myself up off the couch because I honestly thought that, like, oh no, I fucked up the
cigarette
couch.
burn in the
and
couch.
I put my hand on it, and the fabric was hot. And it was like, and I remember thinking, I was like 11. I was like, that has never come out of my body before. It was crazy.
I've had those. They feel like lava farts.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Have you ever had a souffle, like a chocolate souffle? When you crack into it, the chocolate kind of oozes out like lava, and that's how I imagine those farts are. Because I feel like there's something there that is tangible. Like, you're not gonna, you're going to want to have a safety wipe after that. Anyway, we've got a real quick super chat from Stephen Michael Davis for $4.99. Shout out to Kirk. Give these statists hell.
What up, Steve?
Statists or statists?
Statists. I know what he's trying to say, and he's wrong, and I disagree. Okay, Kirk, real quick, though. Earlier, I never got to finish up this argument. Back to the universal basic income, and Kirk also says the definition of government is...
Proper role of government.
The proper role of government is to protect...
Individual rights and property rights.
So here's my argument against that, and it's a sound one. I would love to hear a response to it. It's not going to come because it's perfect. It's airtight. But here it is. What is the value of America? Where does the value of America come from?
Freedom.
The flag.
No, fuck you. It doesn't have freedom. No. What fucking good is freedom if you don't have shit that anyone wants? Yeah, you have like a little tribe in South America that nobody's touching, and they're protected. They can do whatever they want. They have the freedom.
In South America, they have freedom?
Yes. These tribes are indigenous and autonomous tribes, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's some of them.
I know nothing about these tribes you're talking about, to be honest.
There are tribes that haven't been contacted by humans before, and they live in South America.
It's illegal to contact them, and you have to give them a certain amount of space so they can just live their indigenous lives.
And they respect property rights from the John Locke sense.
What do you mean by that?
That they respect private property. Everyone has private property, and everyone respects each other, and they have a government that enforces property rights. Intellectual property rights.
No, but they choose to live how they want. That is the definition of freedom, right? You live how you want. That is freedom.
Yeah, you don't have to fucking... If you just want to live in a communal property, and that's the system you want, then you get to fucking live in it.
Exactly. So you can choose...
Or you could choose, like, well, this is my land and this is your land, and there's a fence.
As long as you're autonomous people, even like communism, you could say if they are self-imposing that on themselves is a form of freedom because they're choosing to live that way. Like Islam, with the women wearing their burqas, whatever, their hijabs, that's what they choose. That is their freedom of choice, right? So what I was getting at is the value of America is the net sum of all our assets, all our resources, all our property, and all our GDP.
And breakfast pizza.
And
wait a minute. So all of our
oil,
resources,
trees, natural resources.
And this is all collectively owned. It's all everyone's in on this.
It's not collectively owned.
Don't you get your oil check every
so
month?
this microphone, this is mine. This is America. So I get to take this when I leave, right?
You did spill Coke all over his carpet.
Well, regardless of who owns it, whether it is government or individuals, if it's private citizens, it is property in America, and that property has value, and our income has value, and our economy produces a product that has value, right? That is our value of America.
Yeah, who produces this stuff, though?
Americans?
It doesn't just come in a vacuum.
China?
People have to create this stuff.
Okay, but the point is, what is the value of America? It is our property, right? These things that we produce, our economy.
Keep saying but no, the value of America is the freedom to pursue happiness. And when people are free, they pursue values and they
what are you,
live
a fucking
lives.
high school yearbook? The freedom to pursue happiness?
Yeah.
That could be the value of any
public
country.
school public school yearbook.
I think what you're trying to say is that the value of America is the shit we make.
Yes, the shit we make is the value of America.
Not mean that we collectively own it, but the shit we make as a nation, all stuff. So okay,
we make stuff as a nation?
Let's get to the second half of your point.
Yeah, because fucking Kirk, the derailer. You know what, Kirk? You're the...
Yeah, he's derailing you by destroying your argument.
He's not destroying shit, Brad. Fuck you. I'm tired of this shit. Delete this episode. I'm going to fucking delete this episode. I'm pissed
so
off.
your point is the value is the shit
the value of the shit we create. That's the fucking value of America. When you look up the number one economy in the world, America's number one based on what? A bunch of things
GDP.
that you add up. The GDP. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
the wealth that was created by productive individuals pursuing their happiness. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Second half of your point.
Second half of the point. All right. So that is the value of America. And if you do something that diminishes that value, aren't you then causing damage to this country? Aren't you then...
Who determines who's diminishing what value?
Well, for example, let's say that there is...
If I buy toilet paper and wipe my ass with it, I'm diminishing the value.
No, because that's what toilet paper is for.
If you steal toilet paper, is that what we're talking about?
If you light the toilet paper on fire or maybe throw it over somebody's tree like a fucking teenager.
If you have... Okay. Oh my God. This is the dumbest...
But the point is the
Are we
toilet
helping?
paper is valuable to me because it improves my life because it cleans my ass of shit. thereby reducing the risk of rash and disease on my ass.
Let me give you guys a Babcock tip.
Yeah.
You ever check out bidets?
Yeah, bidets are great.
Bidets are fucking great, man. I mean,
great.
really changed the game.
Oh,
But you're
bidet
wasting
is-
water, you're diminishing value.
Or you're just giving...
Oh my god.
No, I'm enhancing the value because that water is touching
Kirk-
my asshole.
Kirk, you're being so contrarian that you're not letting him get to the
Yeah,
end of
that's
his
what he's
point.
doing. That's the only way you can argue, because I'm about to shove some rhetoric right up your ass.
Let's hear this horse shit
Okay,
argument.
fuck
My
you, Brad.
clean ass thanks to toilet paper.
Okay. Well, thanks to vacuums, some would say. Okay. So if you are a company or if you're an individual who does something to damage America's ability to produce or reduces its GDP, then you have effectively destroyed America's value and property, which is equivalent to a foreign country invading and destroying our property or
That's
value.
So like when
nonsense.
Why?
when people game the housing system and crashed the stock market and the banks went out, they were fucking
Bingo.
America.
Yeah.
So enemies can
What,
come from
how come
within
none of
or
them
from
are in
without.
jail? We just gave them a shitload of money.
Well, that's a different story, but this
Oh,
is the point.
because the economy would have diminished in value, and we needed to bail out the banks to keep the economy going.
Oh, right.
So,
right.
By the way, finance and banking are some of the most regulated industry in America. Let's not pretend this is laissez-faire.
Definitely
okay,
not
yeah,
regulated,
the
but not
Federal
enforced.
Reserve?
But
Is
not
that-
enforced.
not
Regulated, but
enforced.
not
Kirk,
enforced.
I want to hear a rebuttal to this because I think that I made a solid bulletproof case. If you,
fascism, yes.
if you destroy the value of America, you are its enemy. But right, and so isn't it?
What if
then,
I'm increasing my own value? What if I'm increasing my own value through productive trade, but my trading actions impact someone else's job, for instance?
Well, that's
Yeah,
actually
like
good,
what
that's
if you
a really good point.
invent email and then you destroy the paper industry and the post office? The post office, which is literally a federal institute.
I mean, that's fair. All of these things are possible. You could do any of these things, right? And it could destroy. So the point is though, if you reduce America's value, then by your own
So
definition,
my right to
Kirk,
pursue happiness has to take a backseat to whatever America's value is?
no, your right to pursue happiness, right? What if it's another country's right to pursue happiness to steal or take
Countries don't have rights. Individuals have rights.
Okay, individuals have rights. Fine.
companies.
Yeah, well, yeah. Wait a second. Actually, that's not true. Companies are treated like people.
Yeah, they're a
Corporations are
collection
treated
of
like
individuals that come together to seek a profit.
They have all the rights of people, but get none of the punishment of doing something that
They never get sued. Hasn't Monsanto been just got sued for $1 billion?
sued, but no one goes to jail for killing.
Yeah. That Monsanto went to jail.
Oh no! $1 billion company. We lost $1 million.
Yeah. Monsanto
you go.
feels weird when it goes to its high school reunion for all the people it fucked over.
Yeah. You gave my mom cancer, Monsanto.
All right.
All right,
Anyway,
I'm gonna leave
back
this high
to
school
universal
reunion.
back to universal basic income. I have an example I wanted to talk about because this actually has already happened in Canada. Ontario is canceling its basic income experiment. And they didn't quite say the full reason why. This is from PBS.org. They said the Canadian province is a year into an experiment that gives 4,000 low-income participants an annual stipend as part of an effort to determine whether a basic annual income is more effective than other social programs. Under the pilot program, individuals receive $13,000 per year and couples get $19,000. So they kind of talked about this, and the people opposed to it were actually surprised that they canceled it because they thought this would be a recurring thing. I don't think they saw that prediction of yours, Kirk, that people would just increase the price of goods just because people were making $1,000. Because again, I think the free market would rule, and then whoever is raising the prices, someone else would come along and lower the prices. So why would that be any different?
Well, the prices have to go up because you have to impose a tax in order to get that revenue to send to people in the first place. So you can't avoid the price increases. But if everyone has more money and the cost of things go up throughout the economy, then people who are providing goods and services will have to increase their prices.
They said here the government said in a statement announcing the change. The change that instead of putting money into the experiment, which cost an estimated $115 million over 3 years, it would focus the resources on more proven approaches. It didn't say exactly when the program would end or what those approaches were, but it still sounds like it's an experiment. But Brad brought up something very interesting at the top of the show, which Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and many other, you could call them futurists or titans of industry, have predicted this in the past. They said that technology advancements will eventually lead to the diminishment of our ability to produce an output. So if we become irrelevant because we have replaced our work capacity with automated machines, or we have replaced them with, low-income workers in other countries,
Like blowjob robots.
blowjob robots would be a huge problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we replace everyone with like blowjob robots or whatever, then
Put the world's oldest profession out of business.
that's right.
Yeah.
A lot of homeless hookers. And
Yeah.
so what do you do then, Kirk?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a centuries-old question of, the new technology is going to kill jobs and erase people's value.
Somebody's got to build the blowjob robots.
Yeah, well, this was a problem with the
Automation is
cotton gin.
building.
No,
But see, robots are building.
somebody's got to build the robots to build the
Right.
robots to build the blowjob
There's a
robots.
handful of people who are maintenance people, keeping up, upgrading the systems.
Do you
the
think
software
they use the
systems.
blowjob robots when nobody's looking?
Of course.
Because I would do it. Have you guys seen Westworld? That's what they fucking do.
I saw
And that's where the future. But see, that's why you need a universal basic income so that you can spend all of your free time getting blowjobs from blowjob robots.
That's productive, if I've ever.
Super productive.
Here's where
That's what Wally's all about.
Here's where I get into it is that we keep arguing whether or not this is a good idea. You know what the best way to test an idea is to put it into practice. Keep doing studies like this. See if this shit works. If it does, do more of it. If it doesn't, then stop.
Didn't Iceland try it for a while too, and they realized Finland.
And then they stopped. And there's like, it's one of those things where it's like, we need to stop. We need to put some of these things into action, into like actual experiments, and be like, okay, let's see what happens. We spend so much time discussing whether things are good ideas or not good ideas. We need to take a more practical approach. Does this fucking work or not? I mean, if a blowjob robot feels good, we should probably do it. I mean,
so they did do this in Finland. I just looked up this example. They said the real benefits so far have come in terms of health and well-being. The 2,000 participants, they got $640 a month, no strings attached. And here's what happened. For the 2,000 participants that were surveyed, along with a control group of 5,000, compared with the control group, those taking part had clearly fewer problems related to health, stress, mood, and concentration, said Mina Yacano, senior researcher at Kela, I don't know, some bullshit. Results also showed that people had more trust in their future and their ability to influence it. So it looks like that was a positive potentially. But this is also from Huffington Post. It's very liberal. They're going to be super for universal basic income, which basically sounds like pinko bullshit. Kirk, would you agree with that, or you're saying that you're in favor of it?
In favor of
pinko bullshit.
Pinko bullshit.
Commie pinko.
No,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
pinko
say that this is communism, because communism is fundamentally the abolition of private property and the control, the public control over all resources and property in a society. So this is just more mixed economy nonsense of we're still going to have elements of free markets. We're just going to redistribute a little more wealth here and there, essentially.
Okay, so but it sounded like you were in favor for it in exchange for abolishing other government
Get
programs.
rid of all current welfare programs, and everyone gets $1,000 a month, and no more tax write-offs, no more tax credits, no more subsidies. This is it from the federal government.
I want to shit on you, Kirk, but this is something I think I may agree on.
I always want to shit.
I want to take a big old shit on Kirk.
Is this why you is why you shit in the shower when you think about me? You're like, ugh.
Those are involuntary anger turds, Kirk. Those come out compacted as fuck. I'm so angry. But this one,
He actually shits like a machine gun. It's like, and it fires
Like
out.
a little rabbit pellet.
Yeah.
I do feel like you may have a good point here, because this is essentially
how close they got the microphone to get that fart sound.
Oh yeah,
It is clean. Play that again. That is so clean.
Good fart,
that
right?
was right into the mic.
You know what though?
They had to throw away the windscreen after that.
Not necessarily, because Paul Flart, and again, I'm embarrassed to play these sound effects compared to Paul Flart in the chat room, but Paul Flart, if you guys follow him on Instagram and check out his farts, he's just like literally looking into his phone usually, or his webcam, and it picks up crystal clear farts. And I'm talking, man, there he is. He's in the chat room. Okay, you know what? Just to give you an example, I'm going to play a quick Paul Flart fart right now. And I'll show you, Ron, because it's not that hard to pick up a crystal clear fart. And here's, Paul, I'm just picking up like any of your random fart. Oh, here's one with 44,000 views. Listen to this. Oh, that's a real that's just a toot. That wasn't a fart. Here's another one from Paul.
Oh my Lord. Oh God. Oh my God.
Yeah, but
Here's
here's
another one.
superhero of farts.
You could hear the cheese in his diet.
Listen to this one.
It's like a door open, creaky door open.
That is I would use, as an editor, I would use that fart as a creepy door opening. Dude, what if we,
in many ways
listen,
it is.
How about this? What if we make a video but our only sound effect library is Paul Flart farts? Like, you have to put every, so like they put the coffee cup down and it's like,
I would watch the shit.
that
out
would be
of that
a fun video. It's like, Paul, I think you should take a viral video and just, you should Paul Flart it, and you should just replace everything with your farts.
Yeah. Windsor21 in the chat room says that's real. It is absolutely real. You can watch these. There's like countless farts on here.
Oh, fuck. Great.
Anyway, back to universal basic
Well, I
income.
want to bring it back to
Yeah.
the communism. This Andrew Yang even had to make a thing on his website. Isn't this communism socialism? And then he has to answer it. Yeah. But it's funny because you bring this up, and a lot of people just say things are communism, even if they're not communism. This happened to me back in December. When they were handing out the Heisman Trophy, they awarded it to this guy named Kyler Murray, the quarterback from Oklahoma. And the night they did it, USA Today ran this story about how Kyler Murray has problematic tweets from his teenage years. And they show these tweets that he sent when he was like 14 years old, calling people fags and queers on Twitter. And so everyone was talking about it on Twitter. And I made this sarcastic tweet saying, I cannot believe they'd give the Heisman Trophy to such a homophobic bigot like Kyler Murray. I don't care if he was 14 when he sent these tweets. He needs to pay. I hope no NFL team drafts him, and I hope the University of Oklahoma throws his transcripts into a volcano. And 2 days later, I started getting a lot of pushback on Twitter, a lot of people sending me like angry tweets. I'm like, where's this coming from? And it turns out someone wrote an article for Yahoo News saying a lot of people are outraged about Kyler Murray's homophobic tweets.
Oh, yeah.
And they cited my tweet, my sarcastic tweet, clearly sarcastic.
Yeah.
And so many people were angry in the comment section.
But how
I'm
was that
getting to it.
clearly sarcastic?
Because
put
To
slash
throw his
S
transcript
after it.
into a volcano?
yeah,
That's
they-
ridiculous.
You don't think that would be
I
how
also
some
had-
people actually write like that and mean it?
I also had an eye roll emoji at the end.
The eye roll emoji, Ron. Did you consider the
I did not consider
I
the
should've-
eye roll emoji.
Is that?
I
is
thought
that-
it'd be obvious to a comedian like Ron when I said transcripts into the
No,
volcano.
that's the thing about people hide behind satire a lot. They go, it's satire, and
Yeah.
satire assumes that people are smart, and
Yeah.
most people are not.
And also, it's not satire until they get caught. It was just a joke. It's only like if A, you're not a comedian. B, your joke was shitty. C, it probably wasn't satire. D, you're trying to protect yourself, and it's not your fucking shield. It's not your parachute, dipshit.
But the one of the top comments on the Yahoo News story was, "This is what Kirk WIlcox is what communism looks like."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like, what?
Kirk,
We
yeah.
just say that we use the word communism and socialism, and most people don't know what the fuck it means.
No.
And we just use it, and it's like one of those things where it's like it's universally bad, but a lot of elements of our economy right now are very, socialism, and it's like. It's
Yeah.
one of those things you can't ever have a conversation about it because people are like, well, that's socialist. And you're like, wait, so like I would like to have a conversation about this stuff without people just yelling at each other because it's universally like a
No,
negative
shut
word.
up, Ron.
Yeah,
Shut
you're
the
right.
fuck up. You're talking about socialism. It's
Yeah,
bad.
that's what I was.
Bad.
I
USA. USA.
Yeah, you're right.
I made a tweet today, basically defending, that annoying thing I always say. I was defending centrism because I have that meme where like three people are in an office and they're having a discussion, and the boss says, "Listen, guys, we need to find a solution to our social problems." And somebody on the right says we need less regulation. Somebody on the left says we need more regulation. And I, the moderate, I'm like, how about just regulation when you need it? And the next frame is the guy being thrown out the window. And I was like, why has centrism become such an ugly, dirty word? And I tried to explain the explanation of the political definition of centrism, which is you agree with some values on the right and you agree with some values on the left. And when you add them up on a political scale, it adds up to zero. And that's why it's in the, you're a quote centrist. It doesn't mean you are in the middle of every fucking issue. You don't spin around like a fucking top, like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm a fucking fence sitter. That's not what centrism is. But nobody got that, and it was just a lost cause. Like people on all sides were mad at me
because in the way that centrism and moderates are portrayed today, it's that you don't stand for anything. It's
That's
like
what they say. Yeah,
That's what
they say.
you're basically an undecided voter.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I
don't know.
yeah. Someone called me out for that. It's like, why don't you make a decision, Maddox? I'm like, yeah. I'm because if there's anything I'm known for is not having strong opinions, right? Anyway,
The title of your next book. I don't have any strong opinions.
Yeah, no opinions in this book whatsoever. Yeah. Anyway, it's stupid, the whole thing. So back to the universal basic income. I haven't really seen much data about this not working. It just seems like it's still in the experimental phase. Some people bitch about it because...
by what standard does it work? A lot of people will say this about socialism, capitalism. Oh, it works, it doesn't work. No one ever says what the standard is. What's the standard for it working and not working?
It's a fair point.
Okay, I'll tell you whether or not it's... I guess we won't know until we get to the point where we need it, and then we'll know whether it works or not. But here's the problem. Michael Malice. Michael Malice, he's been a guest on the show several times. Really smart guy. He just came out with a new book called the New Right. Yeah, The New Right. And he has said this in the past. He's like a huge advocate of self-checkout lanes and people losing their jobs. And I shouldn't say that like that. What I mean is people who are replaced in fast food places with automated checkout machines. He loves automated checkout machines. I'm sure he wouldn't characterize it as people losing their jobs. And again, I don't want to speak for Michael Malice, but essentially that's what I understand about his point. What happens, Kirk, if we get to a point where enough of those jobs are replaced that people can't find employment due to efficiency?
What do you mean?
Well,
so you think that technology is just going to phase out all the jobs and no one will have anything to do?
Most jobs.
I think technology will phase out a lot of menial jobs that a lot of people have today.
People will have to find new work, and I think when
but what about
when technology replaces jobs, people often find new stuff to do, and it opens up new avenues. Look at what Jeff Bezos is doing. And Elon Musk. They're exploring space, and they're looking to colonize Mars and the moon and shit.
I think
that won't create any jobs.
No, but I think the point is that the jobs that those people create aren't going to be filled by the dude who was flipping burgers at the Burger King.
Right. What are your dipshit high school kids, the fuck ups, going to be doing?
Probably fucking joining the military.
Great. And then what? And then what do we have to keep starting wars to justify their existence?
No, man.
So politicians have to find them work? Like, what kind of work are they going to find?
No.
Or do you just want to send them a check and say, you don't have to
I don't know,
work?
man. You said that government point is the pursuit of happiness. That's part of your
they have to
definition
figure
of
their
government.
life out. They have to figure. It's not up to me to figure their life out.
But if
it's not up to me to take care of them.
Like the U.S. has 330 million people in it, and what if 130 million people have no job?
I think that's the case right now. Like 90 to 100 million people are currently don't work.
Not that.
No,
our
not in
unemployment
America.
is
No way.
crazy
It's like
low.
5%. It's like less
It's
than 5%.
like less than 5%.
Isn't that always a misleading? Both
Yeah.
Republicans and Democrats do this.
Yeah,
Very
they always
true.
do this. They say, "Oh, the unemployment rate is lower because people stop looking for work."
Yeah, no,
and I've seen liberals and conservatives both spin it that way.
I
Every
know.
time there's an
And I'm
low
like,
unemployment
how do you
rate.
fucking know that?
Yeah, because they always say, "Well, it's not all roses because it's actually because people are so depressed they gave up on the economy and they're just like on a
And I'm like, well, how are they making a living?
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, this has been an interesting and long debate about universal basic income being for pinko commie dipshits and farts. Farts was the other big debate that we had.
Yeah.
Vote on
Have
this.
there been stories though about I hate to interrupt, but like a lot of these
No, you don't.
these coal miners and stuff that lost their jobs to like coal factory plants and miners closing? Haven't there been stories that a lot of them have found coding jobs and have learned to code, which has become a controversy? I'm serious. I've seen headlines.
Are you fucking with me, Kirk?
No.
Miners didn't become coders.
No.
No. That's why they voted for Trump. Because they didn't have any fucking jobs.
There is chasms of knowledge that you would need to go from mining to coding. This isn't something like you just can't pick up coding overnight and become a competent
Well, not
coder.
overnight, but maybe how long would it take to figure to
What
teach
about
someone
a
to code?
3-day weekend?
Well, okay.
Like where you're really fucking focused.
But here's the thing. So coal miners are losing their jobs. And then they're like, oh, well, let's say
the
this
big
is
one
true.
with Andrew Yang. I'm trying to help you out here. The big thing with Andrew Yang is truck drivers. And Tucker Carlson, Fox News Tucker Carlson makes a big deal about this. If we automate trucking, you're going to eliminate like 250,000 high-paying jobs.
And that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Eventually, eventually cars will drive themselves.
Yes.
Trucking will go away. Taxis will go away. Uber and
No,
Lyft will
taxi,
go away.
Uber, Lyft.
Those will all go away.
Blowjob robots.
Blowjob robots will come on board, but you can't afford them because you don't have a job. And then, let's say your coal miners lose their jobs. Let's say they actually learn to code. Eventually, the coding jobs are going to go away because only one person will need to control all the fucking coding for Amazon. So it'll be Jeff Bezos, coding guy, maintenance guy. 3 people work for Amazon, and that's it. There's no more. Amazon employs like shitloads of people and underpays the fuck out of them, especially if you work in a warehouse.
But is the idea then, isn't this kind of like maybe it's like we don't know what we don't know. Like maybe we are turning into a system that is more. We have the robots to do all of our shit for us. We get this universal basic income, which frees us from to pursue other things, maybe things we don't even know yet because it's such a foreign concept to us.
Right.
I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, I think work and challenge is a good thing for the human soul. I think actually just having pure leisure time, it can be a negative thing, but it's like maybe this is a thing that like we are free to pursue other things.
Exactly.
And I don't know. My point is I think ideas should be tested.
That's where the futurists are going. That's what they're saying. Like these, Elon Musk and everyone. They're like, eventually, people won't need to work at all. You'll be able to do art or other things and explore.
Yeah, but man, it's gonna be so much shitty art.
Of course,
art is basically like a lot of art. Listen, there's a lot of art that's good.
99.9% of
but
art is
I
shit.
always say most things of everything is shit. Most movies are shit. Most music is shit. Most art is future garbage. Yeah. Like it's always like. And because you got to make a lot of shit before you get good at something.
Right. So, I mean...
most of Maddox's early arguments were shit.
Okay. Tired of this. I will say this.
Is it because you're old?
You know what? Yeah, of course.
E3 made you tired.
Oh my gosh, I am still in the haze of alcohol from all week long. It's been ridiculous. The amount I... overdid it. And we should get to my blood drawn, Ron.
Boy,
yeah, because I finally did Ron's Babcock tip, and I got my blood drawn. I got a
guys,
I donated
blood. It's good for your heart.
Real quick before we do though, I got a super chat from Jake Smith for $1. Thank you, Jake. But anyway, let's get to. So we're gonna wrap this up. Vote on madcastmedia.com. If you guys want to leave a voicemail, the phone number is at the bottom of every Best Debate episode. If you click on the Best Debate, click on any episode. The phone number is there. You can leave us a voicemail. We'll be playing those in a minute. But I do have a recap from last episode's debate.
Okay.
Yeah, last episode we debated whether or not fans are too entitled. Because we specifically, the context was the Game of Thrones ending, which, Brad, we watched it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought,
terrible.
I thought the ending was fine.
You watched 3 fucking episodes of the entire series.
No, I've watched
Your
at least
opinion
6.
is completely useless when it comes to that. Speaking of Game of Thrones, though, Paul Flart, please re-edit the final season of Game of Thrones with your farts.
Yeah, I would watch
shit.
That's the only thing that can improve that.
Every time the dragon spews fire.
Great. Based on someone who isn't very invested in the series and doesn't give a shit, I thought it was fine. It was a fine ending.
It was lazy as fuck writing.
You know what? They ended it, though.
Yeah, because they were done.
It did end.
The last episode's got the guy giving the bullshit reason of why we did what we did. Like, she was bad the whole time.
Well, it sounds like Brad was one of these people who signed a fucking petition to have the ending changed.
I didn't because I'm not stupid.
Okay, well, that's fine. So I put the question to the audience, and I asked, are fans too entitled? And it was 72% of the vote. Yes. Correct answer. Finally, fucking this audience. For the first time in 136 episodes. Correct answer. Or second. And then at the... The other part of the debate I asked is, does the Game of Thrones finale need to be remade? I asked the audience, and the choices were no, and yes, I'm an entitled crybaby dipshit who only finds meaning in fictional universes with dragon bullshit. And with 73% of the vote, no. Hey, yes. Congratulations, guys. Voted correctly. Again, it's the second time in the history of the show and this episode. Anyway, we should get to the Babcock tip. Ron, what do you got for us?
Well, I was all excited. I went above and beyond this week for the Babcock tip. My tip was going to be to, God, this is such a hippy dippy thing, but I love it. It's to make your own deodorant. So I made my own a batch of deodorant, which I do, and I swear to God, I swear to fucking Christ, ever since I started using it, I sweat less. I swear to God, it's been great. And I was going to give you some, and I was going to have you use it the whole week. And then next week, if it doesn't work, you can shit on it. And you are objectively probably one of the sweatiest people I've ever met. Okay. You are Armenian.
Don't like that, Ron.
Listen, you are like a factory of sweat. Like if somebody asks you like, hey, what do you do for a living? Like if you answer, I sweat, they'd probably be like, oh, okay.
No one can accuse me of not employing my olfactory nerves.
So, but I dropped my bag in this little like glass goblet that I had in it because they put it in a glass jar for you, not plastic. And I didn't realize it broke. And when I went to open it, all these glass shards dropped into this homemade deodorant I made. And I actually, for a second, was like, I should probably still give it to him. But then I realized, if you were putting glass on your underarm. So that tip got fucked. But if you want to make it, it's just 6 tablespoons of coconut oil, 4 tablespoons of baking soda, and 4 tablespoons of organic cornstarch. You just mix the baking soda, organic cornstarch together, and then slowly put in the coconut oil. Make sure the coconut oil is fully melted, and then it'll solidify to room temp, and then you could use it as deodorant.
No shit, that's all it takes. I swear I've spilled all that shit on me, and I didn't smell any better.
But I will give you an actual Babcock tip. I got a new car, new to me, 2011 Honda Fit Sport. And I noticed whenever I put my iPhone in, it automatically starts playing a song from my iPhone, and it automatically starts playing the same song from my iPhone, and it drives me fucking crazy. So what you do is, this is my Babcock tip, just go to QuickTime or go to whatever recording software you have, just record like a 5-minute empty track of silence, drag that into iTunes or whatever you use to sync your phone device, label it A, like just the letter A for song, A for artist, and that'll always be the first thing played in your car. So that'll give you 5 minutes to figure out what you really want to play, so you don't have to be annoyed by the same song over and over and over again.
Wow, good tip, Ron. I got a Maddox tip for you. It's called get an Android.
I was going to say the same thing.
This shit doesn't happen. This happened like
Are you
with
fucking
Rucka.
serious? This doesn't happen?
Yeah, no.
Get a fucking Android.
Yeah, get a fucking Android. Rucka has a
No,
car.
you know why I'm not going to get an Android? Because you're literally my only friend who doesn't have an Android, so I can't text you from my computer. So
Yes,
when I
you
have to
can.
text fucking Maddox, I got to go to my actual phone
No,
to
you don't.
text you.
Get fucking go. You can do that shit on Android. There's all sorts of apps to do it.
Here's a Brad tip for you. What the fuck are you going to use now that they're getting rid of iTunes for your fucking phone?
Oh,
Anything
that's fucking
else,
right.
man.
Yeah.
Anything
Right,
else.
but
right.
what are you going to use?
Yeah, what are
Because
you-
have to use
iTunes is already on my fucking... They're not going to take it away, baby.
Yeah,
it's already on there.
They're getting
Dead.
rid
It's
of it.
being
They're
deprecated.
literally.
What are they going to do? Take it out of my phone?
Yes.
Fuck you.
I thought they're just splitting it up into different apps.
Well, who the fuck knows?
I'll
what
put
they're
it up
doing?
on airplane mode. Then they can't get to it.
It's
How
such
come
a
I
piece
can't
of
text
shit.
Ron? He's in airplane mode because he doesn't want to update his phone.
Yeah, the old moderator for the show, Rucka.
Yeah.
He in his car, like anytime the Bluetooth connects, it plays a random fucking track. He goes, oh, it's a feat. I don't think I'm like
Spot on, Rucka.
it sounds like a penguin.
I thought he was in the room.
Yeah, he's like it plays a random song, and he's like, I don't think it's a feature. I think it's whatever the fucking shitty app, Apple, iTunes, iPhone, whatever the fuck it
They are
does.
splitting up the apps, and I
Yeah, it's
fucking
garbage.
hope they fix that garbage because it drives me crazy.
So I've also had people reach out to me, and they're like, I don't know why, but something with the naming of this podcast, for some reason, puts it as their number one track, and every time they start their car, it's this podcast that comes on. So you're welcome. You can hear my fucking cool ass voice. Yeah, it's so sick. All right, Ron. So I did have my blood drawn the other day. So
Good for you, buddy.
in one of my drunken stupors, I was stumbling to the hardware store. Oh my god, I lost my keys for the first time in my life. I was having to replace my keys, and on my way back, and I'm like, pretty rough shape. And I'm walking because I got home at like 5 a.m. and all I did was drink vodka and had lobster pizza all night long. And so trust me, I'm one of those. It was a rough night. And so on my way back, I see this blood drive going on. I'm like, I can have some of this shit. It's worthless. Yeah, I'm sure it's like all my blood has been completely displaced with vodka and lobster pizza. So I pop into this thing.
It's like a crab claw floating in it. Sir? It's fine. You can have it.
The pump is stuck. It's choking. It's making gurgling noises. So I donated this shit, and I look at that questionnaire. It's like, have you ever had any of this shit? Huh? Is your blood clean? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking clean as shit, dude. Just take it already. And they gave me a free cookie, free juice, some snacks, and a free movie ticket. How about that?
Yeah, they do hook you up. Sometimes they give you tickets to like hockey or some shit. We're
And-
like, all right, I'll go see some hockey.
And all that like fucking pussy shit where people are like, oh, you're gonna feel tired because your iron's low. You better replace it with like. I felt great.
Dude, just take a bite of bacon or meat.
Yeah,
and
I felt fucking great. I was like, you know what? I don't need to replace shit because I feel great already. Anyway, so some lucky person in this world is going to get my blood pumped right into them.
Oh my God. They're going to be like, why am I growing so much hair all of a sudden?
Yeah. Fucking cool as
Oh my
shit.
God.
Shitting in the shower.
Well, I have all these wrong opinions.
Yeah, but fuck you, Brad. Tired of your shit.
Do you guys want some cottage cheese?
Hey, speaking of wrong opinions, let's get to some voicemail. Hey, and speaking of cottage cheese, here's one in defense of cottage cheese from a few episodes ago. Listen to this.
Hello. Fuck anyone hating on cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck yourselves.
Yeah, fuck yourself.
Number 2. Shittiest city. Like real city, not Bumblefuck, Utah, or whatever that choice was. San Diego. Fuck San Diego.
Okay, well, that's the
a long
voicemail.
time ago. Yeah, the old shittiest city.
Old shittiest city episode.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, Ethan Herbert in the chat room says cottage cheese sucks shit. Wrong, Ethan. But anyway, yeah, cottage cheese. I got another voicemail. I'm going to play the tail end of this episode after the outro music, which you'll hear another defense of cottage cheese. But we got a call all the way from Germany. Our German caller called back in. Listen to this.
This is the one with
In
the
your
good
last
mic.
debate, I think you missed an important point. You didn't talk about entitlement in sports fans. And I see this here with soccer, where they just run around all night, screaming, shouting, pissing on every corner, and demolishing things, just because they think that everyone is as into their team as they are. We're not. So fuck soccer fans, fuck sports fans, and punch a Nazi.
Dude,
Hey.
I always hate whenever a team in Los Angeles wins the championship.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick and tired of seeing my city get destroyed.
Yeah. And people are always complaining about, like, Antifa destroying, rioting and stuff. I'm like, nothing compares to sports rioting.
Fucking Lakers winning.
Billions of dollars $120 billion. Usually, that's an average of how much damage these fucking sports
$120 billion?
It's a lot. No, I mean, worldwide,
Dude,
there's a lot of sports.
I joked about it, but I once saw a homeless guy pushing a shopping cart full of fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where do you get all that fire? A fire sale? I mean, that was the joke.
Run.
Huh?
Hey.
Come on. Huh? Who's having fun?
Professional
You
comedian.
ain't having fun. Get the fuck out.
There it is. I was with Austin Blank. He was on this show a long time ago. It was when the Lakers won. When they won. And we go downtown because I'm like, hey, it'll be fun to be downtown, see what goes on, all the craziness. And immediately, like, intersections were shut down by mobs of people throwing garbage into the middle of the intersection and setting it on fire. And we're sitting there at the front of this intersection. I'm like, wow, front row view. And someone picks up, and Austin's like, I don't like this, man. We should get out of here. I'm like, whatever, pussy, don't do it. And so someone takes up a barricade, throws it at his car. Jeez. It bounces off the hood, leaves this huge dent.
See,
He was
that's the
pissed.
fucking thing that I hate. It's
Yeah.
like, I understand if people are like, I don't agree with it, but I understand people like want to turn over a police car. But when you're turning over like a fucking Toyota Corolla, like that's just some dude's Toyota Corolla. Like just
but
leave
the fucking Lakers won. What the
leave
fuck is your problem,
fucking
Rob?
Adam alone. Like just let him drive his like 98 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, to his job at H&R Block. Here's
I don't understand. Like we just like break shit that people are like, dude, why break that guy's stuff?
It's
He's just trying
an
to get through the
excuse
day.
To be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So we got that voicemail from Germany, and we got a caller calling out the voicemail from Germany. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox, I just want to let you know, after hearing that German guy, he has a pretty big brain. Just so you know, saying really stupid things confidently doesn't make them smart or right. Just saying. That's all.
Hey, you know what that is? Caller call-out. Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while. It's a caller call-out. Damn, you got called out hard, Germany. What are you going to do about that? Speaking of foreign calls, we got one all the way from...
Burn a police car.
Yeah, from Ireland, Captain 10-incher, whatever his pecker, whatever the leg this pecker calls in again.
Or does it go by meters?
Captain 10, yeah,
Is it inch over there? Or is it captain like third of a meter or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
stones. What do you guys call them when they
Stones.
metrics
I always,
and stuff?
yeah,
That's-
when they measure themselves in stone. A stone is 14 pounds, I think.
That's something like that.
And you're like, I'm 7 stone. And
Well,
like,
he's asking you
what
for
is that?
he's asking you for a Babcock tip because it's raining too much. Listen to this. And you can actually hear the rain on this call. It's kind of cool. Listen to this.
Hello, Lord Maddox. This is Dr. Tennant here, calling all the way from somewhere up a mountain in the west of Ireland. So I was hoping to get a bit of a request from our man Bob Robbie DeCocky, hoping that he might be able to give us a tipping because it's been raining pretty much non-stop in Ireland, some of the worst rain we've had all year. So I was hoping that maybe Bob Cocky Bibbidi Boppy might be able to give us a tip about how to stay dry in the beautiful summer rain. All right, guys, thanks very much. You keep up the good work now. Shift the Welshman or whatever. This is Dr. 10-inch, looking very wet and very sour, somewhere up a mountain in Leitrim. Slant.
I got it. All you got to do is Breaking Bad that shit, man. You got to be like Jesse and just wear one of those one-piece jumpsuits like they use when they cook meth. Every extremity is fucking blocked out. So you just got to wear a rubber vinyl jumpsuit. You're going to be all in yellow, so cars are going to see you.
And you're going to be dope as fuck.
Yeah, and if you want to brew meth, you can brew meth.
Yeah, you can.
So you're already, and then and as soon as you show up to any bar, like whether you want it or not, you're going to get some attention, but you're going to be the driest guy in that motherfucker.
You're going to be, and so are the chicks.
Yeah.
Here's a...
Hold on. What? The guy's name is Mr. 10-inch?
Dr. 10-inch.
Dr. 10-inch, and he's from Ireland?
Yes.
So he's a Dr. Leprechaun?
Oh, hey, how about that? You know what?
Dr. Leprechaun.
You know what, Brad? He can answer right now because he's in the chat room. He just gave us a super chat bread sandwich for $2.
Hey.
Says, I'm Poppy. I mean, we don't know.
That's his leprechaun name.
It could.
Dr. 10-inch is a leprechaun.
Very funny. All right, we got another voicemail. This one's about ska music because I asked the question, is there a nerdier music than ska? Well, this guy has an answer.
Hey, Maddox, you asked if there's a dorkier kind of music than ska. Google nerdcore. That's nerd rap. It's about the dorkies you get. Just anything by MC Frontalot. It's going to be far dorkier than Real Big Fish. Later.
Yeah. Nerdcore. I have heard some nerdcore. It's
Or what
like
about video game cover bands?
That's true. And Kirk, I've been in your car.
8-bit music?
Kirk listens to this shit. I'm into
yeah.
it. I'm into video game cover bands. There's a ton of really good ones. One of the original ones was the Mini Bosses.
Yes.
Yeah, they're from Phoenix.
Yeah, and I've met those guys.
We did shows with them. My buddy and I started comedy in Phoenix, and they were like the band, one of the bands that were around that were kind of blowing up as we were doing shows. They're awesome.
I should hit those guys up. Like they're super
cool dudes.
Yeah, they're good dudes. Anyway, we got another.
I'd rather
voicemail.
listen to Mini Bosses than ska.
Yeah, Mini Bosses are
Like
dope.
ska is like it's for a certain time of your life, all right? And I listened to so goddamn much of it in high school.
95.
It doesn't. Yeah,
That was the period.
Over 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Fucking leave it behind.
there's a point where it's like it's tough to. I don't know, man. I think it's because I'm ashamed of the person I was when I listened to it. You know, where it's like that part of your life where you kind of cringe, and that's like I look back on that, and I was listening to a lot of ska back then.
What ska was, it was a bunch of nerds who got together and from the marching band added their trombones and trumpets to a couple of guys that also played guitar and drums. And they're like, we're a band, we're cool. And then everyone's like, hey, I've never heard this before. And then one day later, no, these are a bunch of nerds. Fuck this garbage music.
Look, you guys are both right. Here's another voicemail. This is a branding Ron for the Babcock Tip segment. Yeah, listen to this.
What's up, Maddox, Ron, and whoever the fuck else is there this week? I was thinking something. Calling the Babcock Tip is a missed opportunity to call it Just the Tip with Ron Babcock.
You know, I was
Way
thinking about
fucking
that.
funnier. Then maybe some of those other waterheads will actually remember your name. See ya.
I remember. I was thinking about that, but then I feel like that's been done. I feel like Just the Tip. I feel like it just was one of those ideas where I was like, somebody's got to have done that.
You know,
but nobody has the name Babcock.
That's true. And I don't even think he said Babcock. I think he said Badcock.
Damn it.
I will say this. A long time ago, I worked for a news program, like a news TV show, like a small little segment on some like small cable show.
Stop bragging.
And and we were trying to rebrand. I worked with some people who created The Daily Show. So it was like I was super excited to be working on this show with these people. And we were looking for a name, and I came so close to. I was really pushing hard for calling the show Just the Tip because we were just covering a little bit of news, and I was like, it's it describes this show. We were so close to going with that, and that I think someone at the high up of the network put their thumb on the scale and said no. And then I almost got this one through too. We were really pushing for This Hit Show because if you spell it out, it says The Shit Show. And that was, and then I pushed it about as hard as I can to the point where they're about to say, okay, you're not taking your job seriously. So I had to pull back a little bit. But man, I would have been so happy if I got
that. Actually would be. I love that name. This hit show.
Yeah,
that's
right?
great.
Yeah, thank you.
And just have it all in one word, no spaces.
Yep, no space. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like we'd put it in spaces in the print and everything, but on cable, on the cable guide, it would show up with no spaces. So we were like, oh,
that's great.
We just snuck it in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's it for the voicemail. We got one more at the tail end after the post music credits. But Kirk, where can people find you?
Kirk WIlcox on YouTube, Kirk WIlcox on Twitter, Kirkomania on Instagram, Kirk WIlcox on Twitch, or Kirkomania on Twitch.
It'd be funny if you would just went by Dreadcox on Twitch. And Brad, you're not too big on.
Yeah, don't follow me.
Yeah, good. And
that's the best.
And Blonde Rabrock, according to Dale Watson in the chat room. Ron, where can people find you?
You can find me at Rabrong on Twitter and at Ron Hay on Instagram and at blong.com.
Oh, there you go. This is the most coherent we've had any kind of plugs at the end of the show. But
at this point, people know.
Yeah,
I mean, they're either going to follow or not following. It doesn't really make much of a difference.
I've been linking in on the YouTube descriptions too, guys.
Yeah,
those are updated every week. Yeah, check out the YouTube descriptions. And you can find me at Maddox Rules or madcastmedia.com. That's where you can vote. Find the voicemail number. But we'll be having another show very soon. We've got some exciting stuff coming up. Until next time, I'm Maddox. Thank you to my Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Bouncing butt checks since 1979.
Thank you to the Deputy Moderator, Kirk WIlcox. And thank you to the Moderator in Training, Brad. But most of all, you're welcome.
Hey, Maddox. I wanted to call in regarding a very controversial topic in recent episodes, cottage cheese. So it seems that you and your friends disagree about the taste of cottage cheese. Now, I hadn't had cottage cheese in years, and I don't remember liking it very much. But, since you're crying about how good it is, like you want to stick your dick in it, I figured I'd try it out once again when I saw some of my grandmother's fridge. And you know what? It's really good. You're totally right, Maddox. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Cottage cheese is great.
Wholeheartedly.
So thank you for convincing me to try it again, because I'm going to eat it all the time now, because it's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for the show you provide. Punch a Nazi.
Punch a Nazi to you, too. Really good, he said. He enjoyed it. And I got a big here's a Maddox tip for you. Try the cottage cheese with pineapple in it, because it makes it, right? Thank you.
Fantastic.
Kirk. Yeah.
Oh, that caller sounds like he put his dick in the cottage cheese,
or
because it sounded like he enjoyed it way too much.
Yeah, or you could just have the fucking pineapple.
Ron?
Pineapple's good, too.
It's pretty good.
I don't eat pineapple and be like, you know what this needs? Cottage cheese.
You don't like protein? Do you even lift?
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.